Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports. It is Robbie Fox, it is Clem. We're going to have KFC join a little bit later, like he did last week, for Marvel's What If. This week we got What If Killmonger saved Iron Man, another Iron Man episode where unfortunately Iron Man suffered another horrible fate. Clem, this series is putting you through the ringer, huh?
Is this a fucking prank? I'm just saying it now. Like, whenever something weird happens in your life, and I don't know if anyone else does this, but in the past, I'd be like, is there candid camera, which like dates me? I'm like, is this a prank? Is this punked? Is fucking Disney pranking me right now? Is Kevin Feige, long time My Mom's Basement listener, fucking with me and created a whole series just to kill Iron Man in different ways to see my reaction? Because Bob, I'm starting to lose my fucking mind right now. It's becoming a meme. It's becoming a meme. This man saved the universe, not the world, not the galaxy, the entire universe, half the universe, saved the entire universe, plus was a part of bringing half the universe back to life. Why are we killing Tony Stark every episode? I can't take it anymore. I cannot take it anymore. This might be because the Mets are fucking me and the Giants are fucking me, but I can't, like, Iron Man should be the one thing I'm like, all right, I buried him. He's gone forever. Then they dig him up his bones, put him back to life, and then murder him in front of my eyes. It's Uncle Ben. It's the Waynes. And I can find that kind of stuff funny because I don't have the kind of attachment to them that I do to Iron Man. And again, you're a Spider-Man guy. You're a Batman guy. I can't keep watching my guy getting murdered in different ways every week. He's fucking Kenny from South Park. They've turned Tony Stark, the hero of the MCU, into Kenny from South Park.
They really have. I mean, it was the first thing I thought of watching this. As soon as he died, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. I actually thought of Uncle Ben right away. I was like, he's the new Uncle Ben. We just watch him die every week. What is this? Different origin stories for what if Tony Stark died? And they actually make you even more excited, I feel like, for Tony Stark in this episode, getting to see Iron Man 1, getting to see the Avengers circle up, getting to see an animated version of like the I Am Iron Man snap from Endgame, all of that. And then all of a sudden, he's just dead every week.
What if Killmonger saved Tony Stark to then kill him 20 minutes later? That was the fucking episode. I am losing my goddamn patience here, Marvel. I'd almost rather, this is the thing, like, if they just didn't include him in the episodes, I'd be fine. I'm sure Robert Downey's voice is not a cheap expense
it's
to
not
write
even
off
him.
Into the budget.
They couldn't get him.
Oh, that's right. That's why they're doing it.
Oh, maybe.
That's why they're doing
the
it.
What If producers were like, you don't fucking sign up to do our show? Well, we'll kill you off in every episode.
Exactly. Yeah, now it makes perfect sense. I didn't even think of that. Okay, so if it's a petty move, so if Marvel comes out, if Feige comes out, it's like, this is just a straight petty move. He didn't want to do that. We're going to do this. Like, again, Black Widow, I'm sure she's going to die a million different deaths in season 2 of What If. So if Tony Stark, if this is strictly a petty move, I respect that. But God damn it, I'm starting to lose my patience now. We're halfway through the season, and he's died in, like, I don't know, like 60-80% of the episodes. Tony Stark dies, and in different grueling fashions every single. Oh, he fucking, all right, we'll get into the episode here, but it was a fucked up way to get killed too.
It was. I mean, before we get into the episode, I would like to bring up something that you texted me about before the episode. You said we should talk about the Hawkeye trailer, and I agreed with you. I feel like the Hawkeye trailer was really awesome. I didn't realize that this was going to be a show set around the holidays in New York City, which just makes me like way more excited for this show. How you get me interested in Hawkeye? You set it around New York City around holiday time. This is going to get me in the Christmas spirit. I'm a sucker for holiday shows, holiday movies. I didn't even know how interested I was in this until the trailer, but I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, again, it's always like, how is Marvel gonna hook us in for characters we kind of cared about, might have hated, right? And let's call it pretty honest. Like, a lot of the characters that have been the focus here have been kind of tier 2, tier 3 characters, and I think they did it just the old-fashioned way. Like, did you get that like warm feeling in your belly that you're just sitting in your house for the weekend? You know, you might have I'm not an eggnog guy. Maybe have some eggnog, or you're eating your leftovers on Thanksgiving.
Some chocolate milk, some Stu Leonard's cookie milk.
There we go. Yes, or some hot chocolate or something like that. I mean, it's just you're gaining a few extra pounds. The NFL, they have the little score, the Christmas lights on the scoreboard. There's some snow lightly falling above it. The Giants have probably been out of the playoffs for like 2 months at that point. Nonetheless, it just made me so happy. So yeah, I'm with you on that. It also gave me like are we going to debate like, is Hawkeye a Christmas show like we do? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I think it is. I mean, based on the first trailer, I think it definitely is. The tagline is the best presents come with a bow. Pretty good.
That and when I did the old like point, I'm like, you're pretty good. The old Robert De Niro there on that one. That was awesome. Do we know how many episodes it's going to be?
I don't think we do know how many. What was WandaVision was 8, right? And then Falcon and Winter Soldier was 6. Loki was 6. Maybe it's a 6 episode.
Let's see here. Comes November 21st, 2021. 6 episodes in total. So that'll be perfect. That'll be right after the new year. And I think, during this time, let's remember this though. I don't know my release dates on this. This won't be, Disney Plus's lead show. At that point, we're going to have some sort of Mando content, I would imagine.
Christmas season, we're getting Book of Boba Fett, they said. So I think it might start as the premiere show, and then Book of Boba Fett might come in like halfway through. And then those episodes of My Mom's Basement are going to be fire, huh?
The basement boys. I mean, winter is our time to shine in the basement.
Yeah.
Turn the heat, crank the heat up, and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be exciting.
And we're getting Spider-Man in the midst of it too, I think.
That's right. We got Spider-Man. We'll be kind of coming off our Eternals high, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot. Oh man, whew, I got a little tingly right now. I'm getting a little overwhelmed, thinking
the nerds
we're
going to
be down here a lot. Yeah, exactly. So the Christmas music. Can we just agree that it gets the juices flowing, even if it's during a commercial in September? I stand by this take, and I'll say this take the day that there's one Christmas song you can play 24/7, 365, Mariah Carey, All On for Christmas Eve. That supersedes the Christmas season. But I think any other song, because my iPad on my iPhone, sometimes it'll just go to a random Christmas song I downloaded, on a random December. It feels weird. That song I think can play any single day of the year. Mariah has she's made it bigger than the holiday.
I agree with you. 2 more things from the trailer I wanted to bring up. Rogers, the musical. It's the new Hamilton. Yes. Hysterical. I cannot wait to see an extended scene of that. It looked like Hawkeye took his family to see it, so I feel like we're definitely going to get some funny shit out of that. And 2, we got no Yelena in the trailer. Something that maybe they're saving in their back pocket for when they want to release like the final trailer, remind you like, and there's a Black Widow on the hunt for him. But it's kind of like a sick thing that they didn't even show us in the first trailer, which leads me to believe this show is going to be like layered. It's going to have awesome, like multiple episodes. Maybe she's not even in the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. And I hope the reveal, they don't have to reveal it. The fact that we know it's coming, it's like kind of just makes me feel all right about it. I feel like 6 episodes is the perfect length. And do you think that Hawkeye, actually, I'm just going to say, let's be honest, Hawkeye didn't have any tickets left for him at the Rogers the musical. And he probably was like, guys, I am an Avenger. I was like part of the team. Me and Steve were really close. I'm like, yeah, sure, man. It's like, it's fucking Hawkeye. They gave the jerk off motion and didn't give it to him. I feel like he had to pay for an entire family to Broadway. Broadway's not a cheap place.
It's expensive. And if Rogers is anything like Hamilton, we're talking super high prices, hard to get tickets, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and they're Midwestern too. Like they're getting taken to the cleaners. They're going to some website that is by no means like a good second market website. They are going to something that is just 500%
Craigslist maybe
markup. What?
They're maybe going to Craigslist.
Yes, definitely. They're, you know what? They don't even see the musical. They get like bamboozled on the street by some hustler that like gives them fake tickets, and they can't even get into the building. That would be a nice little twist. I saw Ken Jack had a note where he said that it's kind of interesting how like Steve Rogers is like beloved, and they have this stuff where Iron Man is kind of forgotten. I feel like there is some like Iron Man love because
we saw a lot of it in the Spider-Man movie, right?
Exactly.
But other than that, not really.
But I do like how they're referencing, because if both those Titans just, die, disappear, whatever happened, it would be kind of interesting. Instead, we get Tony Stark getting murdered every week. But very excited for Hawkeye. Going in with, moderately low. I'm a 4 out of 10 expectations, right?
Yeah, I kind of just want a fun holiday show at this point. Now that I saw that trailer, I'm like, as long as they nail the Christmas holiday aspect of it and give us like a nice, wrap the ending up with a nice bow, I'll be happy.
Yes, agreed.
Do you want to get into this What If episode?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Fellas, the sport of business means demanding excellence from your craft and wardrobe. Right now, in my own apartment. I was going to say in my mom's basement. I'm basically in my mom's basement, even though I'm in my own apartment. It's the same kind of vibe in here. And I'm wearing a raggedy old Star Wars shirt, which is great. You're allowed to do that in the comfort of your own home. But if you want a versatile shirt that has changed the game on men's fashion, you got to go to our friends at Cuts Clothing. These shirts have redefined what the plain tee is. They've combined premium quality with a minimalist aesthetic. This stuff is the best. Cuts shirts, polos, hoodies, crew sweatshirts. They're all made for the man who works hard, plays hard, and never settles for less. Our friends at Cuts say, take a plain tee and make it Tony Stark. I love that tagline. Clem, I'm sure, loves it even more than I do. Remember, it's not just a lifestyle, it's office leisure apparel for the sport of business. Go on their website right now. It's cutsclothing.com/basement, and you'll get 15% off your first order. Go check out their clothes. They got the plain tees, plain hoodies, amazing stuff, really cool colors. It's versatile. Wear it to the gym, on a date, to dinner, to a wrestling show, to a movie premiere, wherever you want to wear Cuts Clothing. It works. I promise you.
So we kind of talked to Kevin about it, and beforehand we said it wasn't the best episode of What If, I thought. I thought it was kind of mid for What If. It might have been my least favorite, actually. I didn't dislike it, but I found myself halfway through the episode when Tony was gone, when T'Challa was gone, kind of being like, it feels like the story's over now. Like, it kind of just, like, extended on. I didn't love it, but it was what it was. I think even a bad episode of What If is pretty entertaining, and it wasn't bad, but it was just,
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're not looking at the clock being like, all right, when's this over with? You're just kind of you're locked in. And there were some excuse me, there were some points where I'm like, all right, this is getting fun. But then it did kind of hit a snag. I do think they could if they had, and the thing is when you have the What If, canvas, you can paint it however you want. You can get crazy with the shit you're bringing in. And granted, you can't use a lot of the Marvel characters because a lot of the ones they've just acquired, they can't do, but there's still a ton of fucking awesome characters they could have brought in at some point. So that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, I'd say off the top of my head, I'd probably say it's my least favorite of the bunch so far, which again, mid. We could say I can say mid, right?
Yeah,
mid.
Definitely, yeah. I'll give you a mid card.
You know what there is no mid of? 3Chi. That's all high. That's all the good shit right there.
3Chi is the friggin' best. The root beer taffies, I gotta get my hands on those. I love root beer.
That's when I saw root beer taffies. They said, "Hey, new product." I was like, "You motherfuckers! They did it again."
They did. It's like Vince McMahon in the '90s. It's like, oh my god, he did it again. We can't believe this guy. We start off with the intro to Iron Man 1. Like I said, we saw this in the first What If trailer, so we knew we were getting it at some point. And the bomb goes off and everything during the selfie, and Killmonger, it winds up saving him. Killmonger at this point still in the military. He says, the 10 rings are after you. Come on, let's go. The 10 rings, nice shout out there because we learn a lot more of those about Shang-Chi. By the way, the Shang-Chi episode is coming. Eventually it's coming. I got a few DMs about it this week. When Clem sees it, we'll do the episode. I promise you.
And this is completely on me. I didn't have a chance because of the kids on Labor Day weekend. And now football season, Mets, like weird shit going on, and then like I have a bunch of random things for work we have to travel for, which never happens. So this is 100% on me. If I don't see it by, what are we gonna say, next week by the, so say 16, 23rd, 20. If I don't see this by the 24th, you guys can repeat.
All right, I'll have to get a fill in. I'll have to get Jeff D-Low or someone in here.
Oh, the hot seat. All right, fair enough, Bob. I like it. Oh, this, by the way, Bob, we're playing right now, Washington Giants tonight. So there's a little bit of
tonight,
animosity.
Really?
So by the time people hear this,
it'll be yesterday by the time this came out. But yeah, who knows?
The mega powers might have already exploded by then. The game might be too much for our friendship.
Yeah. We get to see the Avengers circle up, like I said. We get to see that the Endgame snap would have never happened in this universe because Iron Man never existed in this universe. Tony Stark had no reason to become Iron Man. He didn't build a suit out of metal scraps in a cave, as Obadiah Stane said. And Killmonger immediately is given a promotion through Stark Industries. He's taken on stage. They're like, this guy saved my life. And he sniffed out instantly that Obadiah Stane was looking to overthrow Tony Stark. He announces that on the stage. He's like, look it up. I just put it all out. Google it. Obadiah Stane is knocked out by Happy Hogan. Nice moment for our guy, Jon Favreau. And Rhodey and Pepper are the only two that are initially like a little bit sus of Killmonger. They're like, this guy's like getting in here. I don't know. It was nice seeing Don Cheadle in Iron Man 1 times. That's like Oh, here he is, Kevin.
So we're rocking and rolling, baby.
Let's go. Where are we at? What are we
We
doing?
really just started recapping the episode, so
Okay.
you joined us at perfect time. We broke down the Hawkeye trailer a little bit.
Big news in shoes, folks. When was the last time you heard that? Big news in shoes. Rothy's is now selling men's sneakers and driving loafers. Rothy's, you've probably heard of them from your wife, your girlfriend, your mother, your cousin, your aunt, your grandma. They make women's shoes. They always have. They make these women's shoes that you can throw in the washer. It's recycled fabric and stuff. It's really, really cool. Now they're getting into the men's shoe game. They sent me a little promo code. I got myself a pair. I could see them. I wish I could go. I'm not going to go get them, but I'll put them on the screen. I'll put the pair that I got on the screen now. Boom. Got that pair. They are sick. Come on. Don't tell me they're not. And usually I wouldn't go for the white sneakers because I don't like getting my shoes dirty. Like I will for like the checkered Vans or whatever. I don't know if I'm supposed to say another brand name on this ad read. I just did it. I'm sorry, Rothy's. But I'll go for that because it's like cool, grungy to get them dirty. These kind of shoes, it's like, it's not that cool to get them dirty. So I don't want to get them dirty. Well, guess what? With Rothy's, throw them right in the wash. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Go to rothys.com/basement, rothys.com/basement, and discover what everyone is talking about. Esquire, Forbes, CNN, I think GQ is talking about these guys at this point. These are the coolest shoes in the game. They're affordable. They're not too pricey. Go check them out.
We were talking about how Don Cheadle is finally in Iron Man 1 times because he was not Rhodey at that point. They had to recast him.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a different Rhodey in Iron Man 1, and when he comes back in Iron Man 2, his first line is, "Listen, it's me. I know. Let's just deal with it."
That's great.
Terrence Howard, right? Terrence Howard
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
original one, and I
Right.
think he's like a diehard like Marvel guy, I believe, too. And it just like fell through in terms of like the negotiations or whatever.
Dude,
and
what?
I kind of wish they had thrown in Terrence Howard's like it looked like Terrence Howard, right? But have Don Cheadle's voice just to be petty towards Terrence Howard. Like, you dropped the bag, dude. You dropped the bag.
I mean, every night of his life goes to bed every morning. Terrence Howard wakes up doing a what if.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's got the greatest what if of all time. If I fumbled the Marvel bag, I think I'd have to like retire from acting because like every time I'd be acting another gig, I'd be like,
Even Emily Blunt, who has this amazing, successful career, talks about like she was supposed to be Black Widow, and she's like, "Yeah, I wish I would have accepted that over whatever other movie she did."
That's some of maybe we can do it in a little bit if we got time. The like all of the Hollywood what ifs. Will Smith talks about turning down The Matrix. He said he read the script
for Wild Wild West, right?
Yes, for Wild Wild West, which I'm sure still crushed at the box office, but it's
I
not.
think it did.
But he read the script and he was like, "Yeah, I'm all set on this wacky shit," which I can understand. Well, if I
I think he turned down Django too, right?
did he?
I'm pretty sure.
that I could see. You might turn that down for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
It's pretty extreme. But the Matrix probably on paper is probably like, this is some weird white people shit. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do like a big robot spider movie, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of those, who was supposed to be Indiana Jones and who was supposed to, there's if you Google them,
there's some
there's
weird
some
ones.
all-timers.
Krasinski, I think, auditioned for Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Yeah, I think
So that could have happened.
I think that would have worked.
Yeah, I could see him with the beard, like the Jack Ryan beard he's got now in the Infinity War times. Like that kind of works.
I would say, and obviously I'm no expert like you guys are, but quickly just thinking, I feel like Chris Evans might be the most replaceable Avenger actor-wise.
I don't like that.
I love it, Kev.
I don't like that personally.
Keep it going. You're welcome in the face of
I feel like, speaking of Hawkeye, you could replace Jeremy Renner.
Well, yes, but I don't know. Like Hawkeye's kind of like whatever, bro. We're talking about the big dogs. I feel like if you just had like I think Krasinski could slide right in there. I think I think all the
You
Chris's
can't replace Iron Man.
No, that's a good. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like Robert Downey Jr. had the swagger and like I don't even think he was acting when he did that. He's just himself.
It's like basically him. They now write the comic book character to be like him.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, which is I think the greatest like accomplishment as an actor, right? But I think if you put the other Chris's in there, all the other like Hollywood Chris's, all the
Chris
other
Pine could probably do Captain
That's what
America.
I'm saying. It's he does it well, but it's just a kind of a clean cut like good. Yeah.
You don't even need to change the first name. Just give us anyone named Chris. This is how you know he's replaceable. And this brings me a little bit of joy just because I know I bust Bob's balls about all the time with Captain America versus Iron Man. But he was the fucking Human Torch. He's already been a Marvel
I know.
character. Everyone's
They
like,
already
it's Captain
swapped one
America
out.
now, whatever.
Yeah.
And we've just accepted it.
Bring
so
him back
he's
as the
got-
Human Torch, multiverse, baby.
That would be funny. A little CGI where he
Yeah.
runs into himself. All right, sorry to interrupt. Where we at?
So Tony shows Killmonger a bunch of his tech. Killmonger's like, yo, I got this drone blueprint that I could show you. They wind up building it together out of vibranium. He goes to Claw out in like the coast of Africa. We see Black Panther fight him. Another T'Challa cameo. Another Chadwick Boseman cameo. Killmonger ambushes them with this sonic boom, I don't know, ray gun, taser type thing, and fucking kills him. He kills Rhodey, kills T'Challa. Tony sees it via Jarvis, and he's like, listen, I saw everything you did with the drone, whatever. He fucking kills Tony, too, and gets into a fight with him. This is me and Clem were just talking. They're killing this guy every single week.
It's amazing. I like this is the point of What If, but I still didn't know if they were gonna have the stones to do it. They're taking
episode
the big,
is a downer.
The big, they're throwing the big. It's all big plays. It's
Yeah.
not like what if this guy like met a new best friend. It's like we're fucking killing Tony Stark.
Every week. He said he's Kenny from South Park.
We killed Tony. We killed Tony.
The name of the episode is "What If Killmonger Saved Tony Stark's Life?" and he still dies. In it. Like, that's how you know you're fucked.
that was misleading. That title I thought.
What if
Finish
he
up and then-
like kidnapped him and
Yeah.
kind of like brainwashed him for a little bit into thinking he was friends with him? Yeah.
Yeah, I had some thoughts based on what the headline was going to be. But.
So a Wakanda versus Stark Industries USA war breaks out because of this. Killmonger crosses Klo and uses his body to gain the trust of Wakanda like he did in Black Panther the movie. And he meets T'Chaka, who feels super guilty about killing his dad and all that kind of stuff. He throws the war for Stark Industries. He's got the kind of machine that turns the drones off and stuff. He wins it for Wakanda. He becomes the Black Panther. He sees T'Challa in the Celestial Zone or whatever that's called. And T'Challa's like, you fucked up, man. Eventually it's going to come back to you. I know it. Again, we get Chadwick Boseman talking about life and death and stuff. And it was like, Jesus Christ. It's so strange every week.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, Pepper and Shuri both put together what happened to Tony Stark, T'Challa, and they're about to go confront him. It kind of just ends on that note. A weird note to end. Me and Clem said, felt like the episode kind of hit a wall in the middle.
Yeah.
And kind of like rode that out.
I would say this was the worst of the
That's
bunch.
what we were saying.
Yeah, I don't think this was that great. I thought the headline had potential because I think Killmonger is a great candidate for like the Wicked treatment, where you you look at the villain from another angle.
Agreed.
And it's like his parents were killed, and like maybe he kind of had.
You get enough of that in Black Panther, where it's like you're like, all right, he's got a point.
Exactly.
He's one of the better villains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like a spin-off where you really understand Killmonger's point of view a little bit and why he's misguided.
Like maybe a what if where
But-
he wasn't as evil. This one, he still did the exact same plan. He just took a different way
yeah,
to get
that's
around.
why I didn't like it. I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
be what if Killmonger was a good guy.
It's
And
like,
then
what if
it just-
Killmonger won, but also at the end he doesn't?
Yeah. So it's just it doesn't really satisfy you on either front.
The other ones you could at least say with one sentence, like, what if Doctor Strange became evil and destroyed the universe? And it's like, whoa, that's awesome. This one's like,
What if you
what if Killmonger got Tony Stark, became friends with him, eventually killed him,
Double-cross-
became the Black
yeah.
Panther, and then also lost?
Yeah.
It's just too much.
I absolutely love Killmonger too. I think that it sucks for him because I think Marvel had like a villain problem forever, right?
Yeah.
The first couple phases, and I think he was by far like the best character. And it was one of those things that I would never tweet it because I would just get dunked on with quote retweets. But I always like he kind of like should have been the Black Panther. He beat him fair and square. He beat Black Panther, fair
brother.
and square.
This is your king. I mean, fucking. I
And
always thought that.
I'm a Michael B. Jordan stan for
Yeah,
life.
me
I was
too.
with him on The Wire, then obviously Friday Night Lights, Creed, and all that shit. And then when I see him as Killmonger, and I don't even know if you could say Killmonger is underrated, but I do feel like history forgets Killmonger now that Thanos has kind of become this bigger than life
Yeah,
villain.
he had Thanos like a few months after him.
Mhm.
Literally, just
Yeah.
that came out in February. Infinity War came out in April.
I
Sucks.
Yeah.
I remember Black Panther was when I was, I had not really dove back into the Marvel world after, kind of abandoning it as a kid. And I remember just thinking that he was the star. I thought he was.
So I mean, the
like,
look, the haircut,
yeah, and
the
that's not to
attitude,
knock
the outfit.
It's not to knock Chadwick Boseman, and
No.
all, but I just seeing him, I was like, oh, he's the Black Panther.
It's one of those movies where the villain steals the show.
I just hate his chest, man.
Oh, you don't like that? I
Yeah.
thought
No,
that
no,
was
I
cool.
no. I mean, I like it, but I don't like those things. I don't like bumpy
Oh, yeah,
things. I
yeah,
get a little
yeah.
bit of tryptophobia
Oh,
in me.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see
yeah.
that, and I'm like,
Dude, I never had tryptophobia till I went to the Museum of Natural History like this last year,
What'd you see?
and I saw they had this like artifact of a fish that like has eggs out of its back, and there's just holes all over the back. Oh my god, it was so gross. It was so gross.
Nope. Yeah, I don't like that shit. That's what his chest reminds me of.
I fucking love Killmonger. I absolutely love the character. He's also maybe this is what we should take from it. He's just permanently on the sus list. Like no matter what,
Yeah.
he's gonna fall into the same like trap basically, and he's always gonna fail because of it. Obadiah, that's Jeff Bridges, right? I get my
Yep.
Jeffs confused all the
Jeff
time.
Bridges.
He played Obadiah so well because I hated that motherfucking cartoon. I was like,
Yeah.
I like growled at the TV, right? It's crazy that you could like think that towards a cartoon character, but he's absolutely like that. That just crushed it.
I thought
Claw
we had a little bit of a cartoon moment with him because for the most part it's very real. It's just animated. When he goes like, uh-oh. At one, like when he realizes he's been caught. At first he's like, Tony, come on, it's not like that. And then they're like walking towards him, and he goes, uh-oh. And it was almost like a moment
Like
of
a Looney
comedic
Tunes.
relief.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Definitely. And I love seeing Claw come back too. I thought Claw,
Yep.
I wish a lot of these Marvel movies, these guys are kind of one and done or two and done or whatever. I kind of wish he had been someone that kind of stuck around for a little bit longer, other than like, it feels like the big bads stick around, like the Lokis and the Thanoses for different franchises and shit. I kind of wish some more of these guys just stuck around instead of always you don't have to kill the villain every single time. Like I wish Killmonger was still somewhere out there in the world and could come back, right? But
I kind of prefer like
you never know.
the A New
Yeah,
Hope,
true.
like have Darth Vader spin out, you know, and it's just
Yes.
like, oh, he'll be back.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
Two things that like kind of the opposite of what Kev said in terms of cartoon moments. Two things that just got me like fucking fired up. Well, or just really played to me. One, fucking Chadwick Boseman, like that dude's voice.
Mhm.
He's so calming when he's like, "What did you think was going to come? Because violence cannot, bring." And I'm like, "Shit, Chadwick Boseman could like explain anything to me and just change my mind." Just his voice was so like perfect and soothing and stuff like that. And that's just a cartoon character saying
I want,
that
like,
I know his past.
Daily affirmations with Chadwick Boseman. You are
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
You are patient. You are kind. You
got
deserve
this.
love.
And then the other thing was when I heard the Bombay, and I like marked out in the house. I honestly paused the episode and I pulled up the portal scene again because
No
that
way.
shit just gets me going every single.
You know what I
time.
liked? I thought was an awesome shot, and would have been amazing for a real movie. When they paused and they waited, and the drone army started to come over the
Yeah.
horizon with the lights. That would have
Almost
been
the
cool in real
vibes
life.
of the end of Mandalorian with the Death Troopers, like when all the robots were activating and the red lights would come on, and it was like, oh,
and
fuck,
like the army's coming.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get kind of like a Ultron-y version of those robots, right? Because it's
I
kind
heard
of the
Ultron's
vibranium.
coming, by the way. In What If? I heard they're doing an Ultron story.
By the way,
with
how many
James
do we know
Spader,
how
I
many
think.
episodes there are?
I don't know. How
Nine.
many.
Nine?
Nine.
9 announced.
3 more.
Oh,
And
yeah.
secret
Secret
episodes
episodes for
coming
10.
number 10. At this point, I think they're doing it on purpose, right? Giving them weird numbers.
Yeah, man.
It's probably Waldron behind the scenes going, let's do 11.
Yeah.
Let's do a odd number just to fuck with Clem.
Now I don't know what happens with Ultron. I don't know. Like I don't know about you guys. When like Twitter goes like, "Oh, this is coming on this week," I don't even look at it. I don't want to know
Agreed.
what deals with it. I can tell you what happens to the Ultron. He kills Tony Stark. Spoiler alert:
Yeah.
Tony Stark is fucking killed. I'll tell you that right now.
He's probably going to kill Tony Stark. We got some what ifs, some Barstool what ifs, some life what ifs. Let's get into them. The first one coming from Andrew Boback Jr. This one was interesting because we have a lot of what if this person from Barstool actually liked the other team. But this one is a little different, I think. It's what if Hubs were a Red Sox fan? And I'm taking this universe in that it's not reversing him and Jared. I'm saying they're both Red Sox fans.
They're just
Are they a tag team? Or they like call him Poppy with Hubs and Jared? Best friends? Robin Big over there?
You know what I think? How about this? I'll take it a step further. Hubs becomes the meathead and lifts and is fucking jacked and has the sleeves and
Jared
Jared
is still,
stays like his 110
chin
pound
strap
self.
beard.
Yes, yes.
Jared's watching tennis on the weekends and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, he loves Federer. Yeah.
Jared
And it's
watching
me and
tennis.
Hubs doing from the top rope.
Yes.
Hubs'
Hubs-
nickname is like the the battleship or some shit.
The battleship.
Hubs with muscles and a tattoo sleeve. Need to see it. Someone needs to do it.
And instead
That's
of
the
Pink
thought of
Floyd,
that.
he's got like Pearl Jam tattoos or something. Yeah.
I mean, I think they're both great, like, baseball minds, so I think, though, it would probably have been rivalry. If they were both in Barstool, it's one thing, but, like, if they both came up together in Boston, I feel like it's always, like, which sports blog do you like the best? So would have been it might have still been a Hubs Rocket rivalry, just rooting for the same team.
I will say this, like you said, you don't always want to just switch people, kind of we did with White Sox Dave and Jared, which was a hilarious thought in itself. But Jared as a Yankee fan, which is a whole other fucking set of can of worms open. Kevin versus Jared in a New York Civil War every single year would be very interesting.
That'd be a
good
worthy
series.
opponent. A worthy opponent, man.
The next one is another just flip flop. Kevin, you're involved in this one. What if it was For Sure Not that took off and Dave applied to be a blogger for you and you were the El Prez of For Sure Not?
Bro, I love For Sure Not with every fucking ounce of my heart. I love For Sure Not. FSN was like my favorite thing that I have ever done in my life, short of like becoming a dad. It was like for no money, literally no money. I think I once got like a Google AdSense check for like $167.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
for
it was
Google
like
AdSense.
it was my whole thing ever. And I actually planned. I never cashed it. I wanted to like frame it, and I just lost it.
I did the same thing with mine for my blog before Barstool. I think it was a $3 check.
But it's
and
like,
I planned on framing it because I was like, especially it's $3. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a cool thing. And I think my mom threw it out by
Yep.
accident. She was like, I threw it out. Sorry.
That's how it goes.
All I do is pay for my site every single year because I don't want to let it go. You know what I mean? And
You still pay for yours?
I think so. I don't know if it's still on WordPress.com or WordPress. I might have
Mine's
moved it to
still on
.org.
WordPress.
Bro,
But
I lost mine, and it's a big regret. You should keep it going.
$10 a year, just for the
lost
URL
it,
handle.
man.
Yeah.
I lost it, and I think if you go to forsurenot.com now, it says like
fucking zonker get it.
it says something like like contact if you want it. But I think I once reached out. I think it was like several $1,000s or something. I think whoever it is knows what's up. I'll get it back one day. But
it's like your childhood home that you want to go back and buy.
Yes. But I also maybe not as much because I also what does still exist is forsurenot.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
And I put that private because there's a lot of the jokes from 2009 and 8 that were not, 7 and 8 that were not allowed. But it was like for no money, just for the fun of it. I remember times where like my buddies would be like, let's, we're going out. You ready? And I'm like, nah, I got to stay in and like work on this. Like, cause I was working on the Smoke Show cartoon or one of the bigger pieces. And they were like, why? And I was like, cause I fucking want
My friends would come to my window and tap on it because they could see into my basement and be like, come out. And I'd be like, no, I'm blogging.
Right. And they don't get it. It's like, no offense. This is more fucking satisfying than going to the bar for the 5 millionth time. So
the people online that I'm having fun with are more fun than you guys.
If I think a more reasonable what if would have been, I don't know, Dave would have never been coming to me, but I think if I somehow had, if I wasn't as young, if I had some more money to my name, I think that For Sure Not could have attracted other talent, like other 90s kids, and then I could have built my own little thing. Maybe you would have hired
Large.
What's that?
Maybe you would have hired Large.
Yeah, me and Large could have kind of combined and to do like this, finance worker fucking blog thing, but I think
I was applying to For Sure Not for like 8 years.
See, you would work there.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have been like a 90. You could have, because you are kind of mentally at least, but like you would have got it with like we're doing throwbacks about music and TV and chicks and like funny commercials.
Let's start For Sure Not back up. Let's do it.
I honestly think one day I will. Like when I get my big money one day, or when I get my big whatever, I want to go back to blogging about like high C ecto cooler and fucking the Crossfire commercial. Remember that one? Crossfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do I remember?
Yeah. I'm sure that's so dated now that there's all the people who could enjoy the revival of For Sure Not is probably gonna be dead.
we had a guy I used to work with named Jason Kress, and we used to call him Cressfire, and my buddy photoshopped his face over the kid's face on Crossfire and changed the O to E for Cressfire.
By the way, Crossfire the game sucked.
Oh,
it was such a letdown.
It's a video game?
No, it was a board game where you had like these little 2 guns. There was like an arena was the board, and you had these little metal balls, and you like had guns that like shot the balls back and forth. But it
sounds
never.
fun.
Yeah, the commercial looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then it just never really worked. That and the ultimate the ultimate like false advertising, bait and switch, whatever. Mousetrap. Mousetrap never worked.
The assembly
all
is
that
just,
set up, and then like
Yeah.
it never really caught you that way.
I thought you were going to say the light bright because you would never have enough pegs to make any of the images that they made in the commercial.
and that you lose them and they
Yeah,
break,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that was another disaster.
That's a whole
We
thing.
have Mousetrap here. We set it up.
Does it
we
work?
play like Christmas time.
Maybe I was
You
an
get-
idiot. Like maybe
No, it's very like it can work if everything just goes absolutely perfect. But probably by this time, it's like our 4th time setting it up. I'm sure everything has been stretched just enough where it won't be perfect. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely not worth all the setup and shit like that. I'm still mad at whoever bought us that for Christmas. Because
fuck that. Yeah.
This next one is a bit of a like this could have been written by the Marvel What If people because it's a depressing one. It's like, oh man, that's kind of a dark timeline. What if Big Cat and PFT left Barstool for ESPN when the whole Van Talk thing went down? JB says. I don't think that was ever a possibility, but I remember there were people thinking that was a possibility online.
PFT just said in the behind the blog that I did with him. If you haven't watched that, go watch it on the
Awesome interview.
KFC Radio YouTube. He said that like John, whatever his name was,
John Skipper.
I think maybe not Skipper, but like a high
No,
up.
it was Skipper. It was
No,
Skipper.
but I
Yeah,
don't know if this is the guy he was talking about, but
okay.
it was somebody a high up. He like when the drama started, he was like, I have your guys back, like unequivocally, like and was talking almost in a way of like you're a part of like our team now. Not like we're gonna poach you away, but like that there was interest in like them and keeping them. And then he like the next day just flipped it and was like, never mind, you're out of here because it's like under pressure. But there, I think if ESPN was smart, they would have fucking thrown the bag.
Fucking war.
Yeah,
with
like
them, right?
I wonder what a real good what if would have been is like what would the bidding war have been like if ESPN was like when your guys' contract up, like okay, we'll wait it out and then you get like $5 million a year each. Like if like what would have happened because they got the pockets like over Dave at that point they did. But you know what? I think that would have been a loss for everybody. I don't think those guys would have flourished at ESPN.
I agree.
We kind of talked about that as well, where it was like, I remember thinking this, and it wasn't just like sour grapes on my part, because I remember someone was like, oh, you're just mad you don't have a show. And I was like, I just really don't think if ESPN came along and offered something, of course I would have been like, yeah, let's do it. It's ESPN. But logically speaking, if you took a step back, I was like, this doesn't make sense. This is not a fit, because they couldn't be their weird selves and say the shit that they want to do, and it would be a half-ass thing for both parties involved. You know what I mean? Barstool would have lost out. ESPN would have never got the full version of those guys. They would have been like, compromising their content. So I think the best thing that ever happened was that.
It really was.
And PFT said it best. Somebody told him, I think it was what's his name?
Bomani Jones.
Yes, Bomani said the best thing that can happen to you is getting fired episode 1 because it's a them problem, not a you problem. You get fired 10 episodes in, they think, oh, you weren't funny, you didn't hack it. But episode 1, you can't possibly be your fault. So
I'm gonna give you guys a little what if it has all the crazy things, and then you have the ending. The ending of this ends with Henry Lockwood becoming the head of ESPN, president of ESPN. No, excuse me. Disney. Henry Lockwood becomes the king of Disney. We'll say 25 years later. Obviously, Dan, PFT, they get their sports take, they have their shows, they do their thing. But Henry Lockwood is the guy who rises up the ranks. We've talked about how much he means to Barstool and how that crazy, beautiful mind works. Henry Lockwood is the new head of ESPN.
Last night at KFC Radio Live, we did in honor of Norm. We did top 5 deaths. Just top 5 dead people, top
Norm
5
Macdonald,
deaths.
You worried me about the dog. We were just talking about.
No,
Hank.
sorry,
Jesus Christ.
Norm
Jesus.
Macdonald. And I said Harambe. I drafted Harambe because and I think Harambe was decently responsible for the rise of PMT.
Oh yeah.
I think that the
I
t-shirts
bought the
they
shirt
made,
back then.
yeah,
as a stoolie.
and I also think what if I think that Hank created the bonus structure here at Barstool because I think those Harambe shirts sold so well that they needed to give him a cut of it.
He installs the first Taco Bell in Disneyland.
Yes.
Big ribbon cutting ceremony.
That'd be great, man. That's great.
The next one we got here is this is actually a Star Wars one that I wrote down because I found it super interesting. Frank Cara said, "What if the Star Wars original trilogy were released in the time frame that the sequel trilogy was? I don't think it would be nearly as beloved.
In
I
the,
think
meaning like in the late 90s or whatever it was.
no, like the sequel trilogy, not the prequels, as in like nowadays, like the last three.
Oh, okay.
I think in the Reddit age, I think there would have been a sector of fans that just randomly said, like, I bet Darth Vader is Luke's dad. So when the reveal happened, it would have been like, called it, whatever. I don't think it would have been an obvious thing.
Do you think that
I think Return of the Jedi would have been panned.
crushed? Yeah.
Absolutely, people would have said they had no planning going into this trilogy. They made the romantic connection between Luke and Leia incestuous, and their brother and sister now. Han Solo should have died in the final one. They probably would have, taken Harrison Ford's position. They would have said the Jawas were horrible. They would have.
Do you think people were saying that?
The Ewoks, I mean. So it got a lot of trash for the Ewoks. They were like, you just put teddy bears in the final Star Wars.
I love
movie,
the
and
Ewoks, but I get that.
I love them.
I get that.
Especially because I was a kid when I saw it for the first time. So so I'm always a kid in my mind when I'm watching Return of the Jedi. But I think that would have gotten a lot of the same feedback the last episode 9 got, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I wonder too if there's, would that also mean technology wise and everything, would the movies have been filmed in this era or just released in this era?
I guess just filmed in this, because if you released them in this era, people would be like, did they have a budget of $27?
Yeah. But I think that all plays into
there's a channel, Corridor Digital, who Nick Hamilton watches all the time. We text about them. They're amazing VFX guys, and they did a challenge where they recreated the final trench run from Star Wars, Luke destroying the Death Star in 24 hours. They were like, I bet we could recreate that in a day.
In a day?
Yeah, and they were able to
and at the time, that was probably the greatest fucking thing ever shown on screen.
Yeah, for weeks, they were working with miniatures and cameras, and they built, a tiny little Death Star and tiny little X-Wings, and they were blowing things up on set and filming it with a blue screen. And they were like, we could do this in After Effects.
I'll get it to you by Tuesday.
Yeah.
I had an interesting thought. This is just kind of off topic, but I read Ken Jack's review of the Matrix trailer.
He didn't love it.
No, and I thought he had an interesting point about the technology, the special effects. Special effects have kind of
plateaued, haven't they?
In a big picture, I know they've been advancing.
I think we're gonna hit another advancement.
Jurassic Park was in 1992.
Yeah.
That looks like a movie that could have come out right now.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And it has a lot to do with Spielberg being smart and always shooting the dinosaurs and the T-Rex was always in rain and in darkness, so you could hide some of that shit. But
it was never looking back. You're not oh my god, I can't believe we were ever afraid of that.
No, I mean, no.
And even some of the Matrix stuff, it's what's next?
I was hoping for the same thing that Ken Jack was in the Matrix trailer, being they really pushed special effects in those movies originally. How can they do it now?
Right. Is there something that the Matrix is going to do where they're like, oh my god, they're the first ones to ever do a scene with this kind of camera with this sort of thing?
Yeah.
But part of me feels like I don't know how much more can we fucking do with.
See, I feel like
although
last
I'm sure
thing
that's
that
a
got
silly
people
thing.
talking was Avatar, in terms of oh my god, you have to see it in theaters.
That's pretty long ago though.
Pretty long ago.
So
over 10 years ago. This is 2009.
What's the last movie that they're you have to see in theaters and that you really, really, really did?
The live action Lion King got a lot of love.
Yeah.
But I didn't even like that because I felt
Bullock?
Gravity. Yeah.
Gravity.
That movie sucked whether you were in fucking theater or home.
Kind of a boring movie.
There just hasn't been anything that visually goes.
I'm sure some people are gonna respond with some, but even some recent Marvel movies have been oh, you know what kind of blew me away was, and this is a weird one, but Quiet Place 2 I thought had awesome CGI. Because the first one did the Spielberg thing in that the monsters were only shown in darkness and hidden. Yeah. And then it seemed like they got a huge budget for the second one, and Krasinski was like, daylight, let's show them in the daylight constantly.
Yeah, that was cocky.
It was cool.
A monster movie in the daytime is cocky.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was off topic. So
I think that's actually the perfect thing to bring up, because I think you'd have to have Star Wars make whatever that advance is in the movie to be the holy shit moment, or at least have it be equal to the CGI of today. In that case, though, I'm with you guys. Return of the Jedi gets panned, and even I think we've talked about this in past My Mom's Basement, but I do think the Reddit crowd, the Twitter crowd, people will be nitpicking every little thing, Yoda saying, "Oh wait, there's another," and you're just,
they would say
Obi-Wan
no planning.
saying. Obi-Wan saying from a certain point of view, people would have lost their fucking minds. That like now
that
we
would
have
have
to
been
nitpick, now we
outrage
have
city.
to think of every little fucking possible thing. Obi-Wan, fuck you. The writers don't know what they're doing. It would have been destroyed.
It would have been George Lucas ruined Star Wars by the third one.
Why was why was Star Wars so? Was it just people loved the movie, or was there like something about the era and the time and that it came out? Was there like an X factor?
Star Wars was incredibly revolutionary as far as CGI goes.
Right,
Even
and
the
that's
prequels
kinda
were.
why-
When the prequels came out, they were considered very revolutionary. So
I'm sure the
that was a
fucking
big
lightsabers
thing.
alone were like, wow.
Exactly, the lightsabers, the Flash Gordon inspiration, like Flash Gordon had just died down.
Yeah, that's
this
what I
is
mean.
kind of bringing
Was the
people
80s
back into
like it was 70s or 80s? 70s.
70s,
Right? Yeah.
into
77,
80s,
80s.
Was it
77,
like
80,
you know
83.
the world was getting into sci-fi and getting into these
Yeah,
things, and
like
then this was like the
It
you
was
know.
the perfect stars aligning for all of that stuff. It was the perfect cast for it. It was like a young cast, but like the movie worked for kids. It worked for adults that liked Flash Gordon when they were their kids' age. So
and then that was just like movie previews and TV commercials and like bus fucking stand
and
billboards.
It didn't even really have advertising. Like Star Wars didn't do it did well on its opening weekend, but it did much better like a month after it came out.
Word of
'cause it was
mouth?
word of mouth. Yeah,
Wow.
they did their big like. There's a famous like at the Chinese theater in LA where they had C-3PO and R2-D2 put their footprints in the cement and that whole thing, and they did that I think a month after the movie came out.
Wow.
Because it was like
Yeah.
that was the
real
almost
release.
grand opening of
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
It's
this
so
movie did so
funny.
much better, and the studio had no faith in it doing well.
Right.
So George Lucas was like, listen, you don't have to give me like upfront money for this, just give me the merchandising
Give me the
money.
give me the fucking
And
the
that wound
percentage
up making
points.
him so much money. Similarly, Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man was considered such a risky choice at the time. Favreau was adamant, like, we have to have Robert Downey Jr. He is the guy. And the studio was kind of like, I don't know. And he said, well, why don't you pay him like merchandising and like box office instead of the upfront fee or whatever?
Dude.
And they said, yeah. And Robert Downey Jr. is still raking in the
That's
checks.
another what if a lot in Hollywood. Donald Sutherland was offered percentage points on Animal House, and it was like you could get like $20,000 to do this movie, or we'll give you equity, and he took the money.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So I think like every fucking college Belushi sweatshirt being sold and poster being sold, he'd probably still be cashing in on Animal House. There's a few of those where people passed on the money. It's
Harrison Ford
always
took the
take
money
the equity.
for he took the equity for The Force Awakens. He took like 0.05%, and it became the highest grossing movie in American history, and
Sounds
still
good.
to this day is.
Yeah.
And he's, still making ridiculous
Still
money
chilling.
off just episode 7.
How much money do you think he's worth net worth?
Harrison
Harrison.
Ford,
Is he in the hundreds? Like big money?
he probably should be, right?
With
He's
Indiana
one of the most
Jones
famous
and
actors ever.
Han Solo alone, those
I
two.
would hope so. If Dave is in the hundreds, I would hope Harrison Ford is in the hundreds.
I'm gonna say
100.
What do you say, Clem? I think he's rich.
Say like 200.
I'm gonna say 260.
Well, you got to wear that earring.
300.
You better be worth
300,
Okay.
300. All right,
300.
good. I'm glad that Harrison Ford's getting paid after all this time. He got that money from Jabba.
Yeah.
You can't wear that. You can't wear that hoop in your ear unless you're worth at least 250.
That's a good
right?
point. That's
Let's
a
be
good
honest here.
Yep.
Pull it off. Is still Callista Flockhart?
Yep.
They still together?
Yep.
yeah.
2002 till present, which is
Wow.
eternity.
Yeah,
They
that's a
have
hell of a
Ally
life there.
McBeal.
5
Yeah.
kids.
Unbelievable. Shout out Harrison Ford. Shout out his marriage.
Let me just say real quick. This is cocky when you're listed. American film actor, director, producer, and pilot.
Oh, yeah. He's good. Well,
Although-
Bad pilot.
listen,
like,
he, can
bad-
take,
yeah.
he can take off. I don't know if he could land.
Half a pilot.
yeah.
Half a pilot.
At what point are you considered a pilot? Is it just
Yeah.
getting the plane in the air? Because I mean, you can probably all do
You
that.
know what?
It's
They're
getting
probably
down
talking
stage.
about he's the pilot of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's such a funny that's like a fucking movie character. It's like the pilot who can fly but can't take
Yeah,
off or
yeah.
can't land.
That's Harrison Ford. All right, KFC, thank you for joining
Thank you
us.
guys for
Clem,
shit.
thank you for joining us. We'll be back for another What If breakdown next week. Maybe a Shang-Chi breakdown if Clem sees it in time. And see you then.
Adios,
On the
Clemmy.
hot seat.